Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Hello friends, and welcome to Fairfield Today. Paul Jasmine with you. Thank you for joining us. We are again on a very cool day in downtown Lancaster. We're in the warm lobby, thankfully, of Fairfield Federal here on the big square downtown Lancaster. Thank you for joining us. Going to begin with a subject that I always enjoy talking about is the Fairfield County District Library. It's one of my favorite places that I went to so often as a kid. Used to be right across the street, and then there was a West Side branch over on Harrison Avenue that I really attended when I was in junior high and high school. So it's always been one of my favorite subjects. But this is not your grandma's library anymore, and we'll be talking about that because there's been, if you don't know, a lot of changes to the library. And to tell us about it today, Judith Cosgray. Judith, welcome.
Thank you.
Judith is the outreach manager, and we'll get into that, what that exactly means. We may have an inkling of that, but we'll talk about it. But the library, even in this cold weather, super busy?
Super busy, as always.
As always.
Yes. Believe it or not, thousands of people come through, in a month. Average of 500 or so through the main library doors each day. So the cold weather doesn't scare them off. Does not scare them off.
Perhaps brings them out.
It could, yeah.
And I'm certain when you're open when there are no school days, and I would guess that's a busy day.
Yes, the youth services
When school is
floor.
out, I would imagine. Yeah. Oh, this is our chance to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We do. Youth services floor gets quite busy, a little loud. But, they're having fun and learning, and that's what's important.
That's a good thing.
Yes, it is.
That's a good thing. So Judith is here. We'll talk about what outreach means in a little bit. We were talking about the Fairfield County District Library, just a block or so from here where we're seated right now. And we'll talk about some things that are kind of new to me, but I'm sure to a lot of people, including Judith certainly, the digital resources that are available at the Fairfield County District Library. I remember the digital services to look up a book when I was over there was called the Dewey Decimal System, and they had this giant card catalog thing, and
Yes.
you just fiddled through there, and maybe you even still have one down there at the library now. I don't know.
I don't think
it wouldn't
we
be
still
in
have
use.
one.
It wouldn't be in use, but I can remember that like it was yesterday. You want a book, you just go looked it up. It was all there. It was amazing. Well, like I say, this ain't your grandma's library anymore.
Right.
You have a place that is so with it and so high tech and things changing all the time. I'm sure it's a constant change.
It is. It is a constant change, and especially when where we've grown, like you said, with card catalogs. When I started library school, I had to learn the card catalog, how to make the cards, and I had to learn the computer system because we were in the transition stage. So a lot has happened in my 25 years in libraries.
And for the better, I would say,
Absolutely.
For the most part. I'm sure the internet and that electronic connecting with other libraries with a tremendous amount of resources out there now has just been invaluable.
Exactly. Without the connectivity, we would not be able to be a part of the Central Library Consortium and share all of those materials. So you have access to over 2 million physical copies of items within Central Ohio that we can get for you within 3 to 5 business days. Plus, we have all of the digital resources that all of the libraries come together to purchase and then are accessible for everyone.
And a few months ago, I wanted a book, and I don't even know what it was now, but when I looked it up in the library, they told me that you didn't have it, but you had access to it. I think it came from Lithopolis or someplace like that. Maybe Columbus, but maybe Lithopolis. But in the next day, it was down there, and I was able to pick it up, and it was just like
Right.
you had it. But
Yeah.
that's the kind of connectivity we're talking about.
Exactly.
Sure, that's
Yeah.
amazing. When we talk about electronic things, some of these names are, in fact, most of these names are not familiar to me. Libby, Canopy. Well, we'll start with those. What is Libby, and then what is Canopy?
Libby is an app from Overdrive. Overdrive is a company that has digital resources, which are ebooks, audiobooks, and magazines that are available that you can look through, open up the app and just bring it up on your phone or your tablet. Even if you have a smart TV, some TVs will allow you to get the app on there, and you can just read it on the big screen.
It's unreal.
And some of those books actually read to you, so especially some of the kids' books. Remember the kids' books with the record?
Sure.
It's just
they
like
came with that.
Came with that. So now in Libby, you can bring up a kid's book, and it will read it to you. Sometimes it will highlight the word as it goes, so it helps with them learning the new words through sight. So it's amazing what you can do, and kids are so versatile. They pick it up really fast.
Well, they're so intuitive now with the things they learn. Learning has never been easier, perhaps. I don't know.
They just
Teachers
have
would say
access to so much
Yeah.
that before we would have to go to the library, get the encyclopedia to look it up. Now they can just go on to our website, click on the encyclopedia, and get an updated version because it's updated immediately as soon as something changes. So.
Remember my parents, one of tens of thousands that were probably sold an encyclopedia set by some salesman that came to the house, as I remember. But we had all these books, and we would get updated year, like that year that we would have in it, and it would just keep adding on. And it was just, nobody has those anymore. Now you have the library, and you have it at your home at the touch of a button. It's remarkable.
But Libby is just like the library model. So it's one book, one user. So you may have to put something on hold just like a physical book, but that's at the restriction of the publishers. So it depends on it. But it's available to you, and it's free.
We were talking before we went on about this next one, something new to me but sounds remarkable, called Canopy with a K.
Yes, Canopy with a K.
And what is that?
That is a database of movies, documentaries, and children's programming that is all available to you free through the library with your library card. So if you want to have a dedicated channel just for your children, you can go in, you can put it on your TV, and you know that they're not going to get anything that's not developmentally appropriate for them.
It's the library card is a kind of a key to the universe almost. I mean,
Absolutely.
There's very little you probably can't reach in some fashion if you have a library card and you can get on.
Yes, yes. We encourage everybody to get their cards.
How about LinkedIn Learning? Now, I'm familiar with the name LinkedIn, so this must be something with them, but I sort of think of them as like this employment agency.
Well, in a way, it will help you with your employment or bettering your work skills. So LinkedIn, of course, everybody knows that that's like a work social media, but they also have a component called LinkedIn Learning that you can subscribe to as a individual, and it will cost you money, but if you go through the library, it's free. So you can go in through our website, click on digital learning, click on LinkedIn, put in your library card number, and you have access to hundreds and hundreds of learning videos on things like Excel, creative writing, grant writing. All of those videos are in there. They are complete courses. Some of them actually will give you a certificate of completion that you can give to your employer if they want you to do continuing education.
Almost like college courses.
Yeah, or on your LinkedIn profile, it will populate saying you completed this course.
And it will give you credit for that if somebody's looking at perhaps your app.
Right.
Your application that you put on there. LinkedIn Learning.
And it's all free, and that's saving you hundreds and hundreds of dollars a year.
So that's something, as you said, that if I were just to go out and get that on my own, I perhaps would pay a fee somewhere along the line to get that. But if I come through the library and use your resource to get things started, it comes with the card.
Comes with your card. Yes.
Unreal. Scholastic Teachables, similar?
Yes, it's very similar, but it's for students. So this is a really great resource that we just got, and it's primarily like your early education, your preschool, elementary school, and middle school, and it's really great for homeschoolers. It has just think Scholastic, your Scholastic book fairs, those kind of things. Scholastic worksheets and lesson plans that are in there so that you can just print them off. So say you're doing a lesson on the alphabet, print off all of the resources right there, and you don't have to go buy the books or anything, and it's all with your library card.
Scholastic
Teachables. Yes.
So these are things that, if you get on the library's website, which is a super website, very intuitive, you can move around, do a lot of things, all this information's on there, I'm sure.
Yes, it's all there.
What's the library's website?
FCDlibrary.org.
FCD Library, Fairfield County District Library.org.
Correct.
Okay, very good. Now, I'm talking with Judith Cosgray, and Judith is the outreach manager for the Fairfield County District Library, and I'm assuming that much of that is what we've been talking about in terms of all these tools that are available. But I think a big part of what you do is perhaps getting items, all these resources that we know you have, to people that maybe can't come in.
Correct. So part of our job is to go out into the community to reach people. So if you are not familiar with the library, we go to events and set up tables to educate you on that. But then we also have an outreach delivery individual. And this is a very near and dear thing to my heart, that if you are an individual that cannot get to the library, whether you have physical limitations or something like that, or you just can't drive and get there, Matthew will deliver your items to your door. And so that goes for individuals, daycares, nursing homes, assisted livings. He will just deliver it to you. So, and we're getting calls all the time to expand the service, and we're really happy to see how busy it is.
So by expanding the service, what would be the next step?
We're getting new things like the memory care kits. I'm not sure if you talked about the memory.
Becky was last time she mentioned that.
And they are now, we received them all, they've been cataloged, they go out. So all those kind of services that and we're looking at different ways that how can we help individuals that are homebound also reach those digital resources. So how do we help that? And one of those individuals that helps us is Andrew. He is our Guiding Ohio Online tech person that will come in and teach you how to do things. So if you say you have a tablet or a phone and you want to get one of those apps like Libby, but you're not sure what to do, you can make an appointment with Andrew and he will help you with that. So we have a one-on-one person that can do that, or you can come and take some classes too. So all of those things wrapped up together, getting all of the resources into people's hands.
It's remarkable.
Where they are.
FCDlibrary.org.
Correct.
Great website. We've got just a minute or so left here. I wanted to mention one last thing. In fact, I think we'll be talking about it in the next segment. The library is home to the Garret Players.
Yes.
And you've got a production coming up here, in a couple weeks?
Yes.
March 7, 8, and 9?
First weekend of March.
And again, another tremendous resource by the library because it's free. They have a limited number of seats. It's first come, first serve up there,
Right.
but it's we'll be talking to the Garret Players, I think, shortly to talk about that. Judith, thanks for joining us. My golly, the time goes quickly
It
when
does.
we talk about all the things you do. And every time it's all new things that we talk about when I have Becky here, when I have you here. Thanks for coming in.
Well, thank you for having me.
Sure. Judith Cosgray with Fairfield County District Library. We'll be back in a moment.
If you've been thinking about getting a home loan, now is the time. Hi, this is Carrie James from Fairfield Federal. Our experienced lenders are here to help you make your vision a reality. For more than 125 years, we've been helping our community achieve homeownership. Fairfield Federal has convenient online application for your home loan, home equity loan, and home equity line of credit needs. Visit fairfieldfederal.com to get started. Fairfield Federal for checking, savings, and home loans. Data charges may apply, subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 402612.
The reason why I do what I do is I love helping people, and I really love to work on understanding and striving to improve the lives of the people in our community. Being in Fairfield County is having a network of people around you.
I am driven by my belief that every individual deserves an opportunity to achieve mental and emotional balance, and I'm very passionate about contributing to that process.
Community, connections, collaboration. The Fairfield County Way.
What makes Fairhope what it is our staff. It's always a question that we ask, why do you want to be here with us? And what they most always say is, you've touched my life this way. you know, you took care of this person, or I've seen what you've done and I want to do that. And so the staff that have been here know what it takes. They've been on the other side. They see what it takes to make someone comfortable, to make the family comfortable, and really what kind of support they need. And so I think that's what really makes Fairhope what it is.
Fairfield Medical Center is more than a hospital. We're a health system that's been putting people first for more than a century. From the youngest patients to the eldest, our compassionate team of caregivers are here to support you through every season of life. We are healers, cheerleaders, patient advocates, and champions. Your health is our greatest accomplishment, and we are proud to serve you. Whatever you're searching for, you can find it at Fairfield Medical Center.
At Fairfield DD, there are a lot of things to be excited about in 2025. We've launched a new website that has a ton of great information for the community. We also have implemented a brand new strategic plan where we lay out steps that we'll take in the next few years to move our mission forward. As always, community partnerships and collaboration help us succeed as together we move as one. March is right around the corner, and with it comes Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. Fairfield DD is excited to participate in a wide range of events that raise awareness and build a community that values every person. Find out more at fairfielddd.com.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Welcome back to Fairfield Today, and as Shane and I were talking here while we were gone for the break, a nice segue as we ended up with Judith Cosgray talking about the library and the fact that they're having the Garret Players in here in a couple of weeks. Lo and behold, and yes, we did know that the Garret Players were our next guests, or at least the people to speak for them. On my far right, Marilyn Steiner, Cathy Bitler. Marilyn is the director of the play we'll be discussing, and Cathy is an in-service person, working hard, learning your lines, and
Well, you know, I have them highlighted.
Well, she has a book.
I have a book.
So welcome. The plays just keep coming, Marilyn. I mean, it's like, what, 3 or 4 a year now?
We're trying to do 3, and then we've been doing the cooperative program with OUL and the Lancaster Playhouse for the holiday show.
That's always turned out so great.
And while we're talking about that, Victor has announced that Annie is going to be the holiday show next year, so that's going to be awesome. So
I'm having him on.
Oh, great!
And I'm having someone next week. I think we're having the Lancaster Playhouse on, which is another of the trio of folks that go into that. And then Victor's already contacted me, so I'm having him on here in a couple of weeks, and I'm sure that's one of the things we'll be mentioning, but other things at OU. But that thing you all do together, that's turned out to be an amazing moment.
It really
he's
has.
picked great things, but I mean, to have everybody working together, I mean, it's a machine.
Yeah, and you know, local theater could fill your show just about every week anymore, Paul.
I do have them on a lot. When you talk about the Playhouse, you talk about OUL, you talk about the Garret Players, my golly, we've talked about that before. You know, there was a time when, this is before Ron had this thing going here, you really didn't have much opportunity. I mean, maybe you could go to Columbus or someplace, or Millersport always had their little theater, but nothing here. And now, like you say, plenty of opportunities to do as much or as little as you want.
It's really exciting. It's really very exciting for the community, I think, to have these. Well, and you add Rise Up Alliance. We've got, 4.
That's right.
4 right here, very close in the area. It's very exciting.
And this is our 14th season?
Yes, it is.
And I think in the 14 seasons we've had about 140 actors, and we're actually having 5 new actors in the show Mrs. Packard. This, I think, is the largest cast we've ever had. We have 18 actors and 5 new faces coming to this show. Cathy's husband, Dave Bitler.
Ooh,
I know.
A newbie.
You should have seen how slickly she talked him into that.
Oh, it was slick. It was.
I can see how that would, how she could do that. So let's mention that. It's Mrs. Packard. And it is, the 7th, 8th, and 9th coming up here in a couple of weeks, Friday, Saturday, 7 o'clock, and then Sunday at 2 p.m., a matinee, and it's, of course, hence the name, the Garret Players. It's upstairs. The things we know about that are there is no charge to see the play. It's first come, first serve. Whoever can get in the elevator first, whoever can knock somebody down going up the stairwell first, you can make it. What, you got like 100, I don't know how many.
We usually set up about 100 seats.
About 100 seats, and it's always so well attended, but I can remember when, well, as you say, maybe 15 years ago, talking to Ron Keaton, sitting right here in this seat, and theater. What are you talking about? I mean,
that's what he said when he came to me. I was the library director at the time, and I'm thinking, what?
Yeah, and so his vision, he'd be so pleased.
He would.
And he was pleased, but he would be more pleased with now the groups working together and doing things. But what a vision he had to do it, and you all have carried this out so well.
Well, it's just something I had wanted to do since I was in high school, and
Sure.
I couldn't wait to hop back on that bus after I retired, and Marilyn offered me the opportunity, and I've just had a ball these last 6 years with it.
Well, let's talk about it. It's called Mrs. Packard by Emily Mann, a powerful story of one woman's struggle for sanity and justice. Good luck with that. In a world that seeks to silence her. Sounds intriguing.
Okay, this play takes place in 1860 when Mrs. Packard, at the time in the United States, a man could have his wife put into an insane asylum without having any kind of a hearing, without having a doctor say that they're insane. They could lock them up. And so Mrs. Packard started attending a church. Her husband was a preacher. She started attending a church across the street from his church and coming home with ideas that were different than his, in which case he started teaching their children some different ways of thinking. So he has her committed to an insane asylum, and it's really the story of it floats back and forth between a court case, because it did come to trial in Chicago. It was a 5-day trial. So during the play, you'll see flashbacks of her in the asylum and how she got there, and then moving to the trial. The trial lasted 5 days. In 7 minutes, the jury found her not insane at the trial, but it's her fight and the story of her being in the asylum and what she did to help the other women there. And then the story ends at the end of her trial, but you don't realize that in real life, this is a true story. She actually went on then to advocate for women's rights and for asylum rights too, so women weren't locked up.
Would she stay married?
Without cause.
Do we know that?
No, she did not stay married, although she supported her husband because she started touring the country advocating for this. She wrote several books. He could not find another job in a church anywhere, so she actually supported him and regained custody of her children. That was the other thing at the time. A woman had no right to her property or her children, so he took her children away from her too. So
come a long way, baby.
Yeah. We have. It's a really powerful story and really an important story to tell, someone that I had never heard of.
And the fact that it's a true story makes it more remarkable. So you got wind of this, and I'm sure this is right up your alley, being involved in this.
It's a different part for me, I would say.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And who are you, if anyone?
I am Mrs. Bonner. I'm the matron of the asylum.
Oh, of the asylum.
Yes.
You're the Nurse Ratched, or?
I kind of am the Nurse Ratched. Oh. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not a very nice person.
So, Marilyn says large cast.
Yes.
A lot of people.
Yes, 18 folks, and so besides Dave, we have other new people. This
4
time.
other new people besides Dave Bitler: Nathan Loudon, Carmen Bowden, who showed up at auditions, and she's fantastic. Keith Tremblay, who actually is playing the psychologist in the show, and that's what he does for a living here in Lancaster.
Typecasting.
Yes.
And then Michael Clark, also playing a small part. His wife, Misha, has been in several things, and we twisted Michael's arm, just like Dave's arm. We twisted Michael's arm, and he's going to help us out, too.
Could I ask what part Dave plays?
Dave has 2 parts in the show. He is the clerk during the trial, and then he is also the foreman who announces the not guilty verdict.
Nice. I can see, again, typecasting. Dave, I can see him being the leader of the jury right there. Well, it sounds like, golly, what a story. So,
It's very
what
powerful.
is this something that's been on your radar for a while and you just got it, or something kind of popped up?
I'm in a book club, and last year we read a book called The Woman They Could Not Silence, which is the story of Elizabeth Packard. And at the very end of the book, it said, and this is based on a play by Emily Mann. And I said, a play?
Light bulb.
I got the play,
Yeah.
and I read the play, and I thought, wow, this could be a really powerful story to tell. And so for about a year now, it's it's come to fruition. Here we are, getting ready for rehearsals
And so
getting ready to go.
I would imagine with that many people in the cast, you had quite a few audition.
We did.
too.
We did.
Yeah, which is good.
And you could double up, triple up parts, but
Sure.
I wanted to have as many different people as possible, and people really love to be in Garret Players too. It's a great experience. It's a wonderful way for people to connect and feel like they're part, just like all the plays that we do locally. But this one will be especially powerful, I think,
I
for
was
that
going to
cast.
say, not so many times it's been lighter comedies and music, or not musical necessarily, but lighter comedies and little more fluffy things, but this is some serious bones to it.
It is, and we normally do our winter show in February, but we chose to move this to March during Women's History Month because we thought, based on such a powerful person, that this would be a really good tie-in. And I know that there is a special book club reading in March
Yes.
of The Woman They Could Not Silence to go
Really?
along with this. So we're really excited to bring this story to light. I know when Marilyn suggested the book to me, I was astonished.
Wow.
And she said, there's a play. And I said, okay.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I can hear that. So it's March 7, 8, and 9. Do it 3 times. 7 and 8th is a Friday, Saturday. Those are at 7 o'clock. And then the Sunday is a matinee at 2 o'clock, and hence the name Garret Players. They do it on the upper floor there of the Fairfield County District
And can I
Library.
say that we are, the Friends of the
Yes.
Library are our sponsors for this play.
Bring that up.
Yes, so we will have an intermission during the play. There will be a donation box, and 100% of any donations that we receive during the play will go to the Friends of the Library. So they support us by we have to pay for the rights to perform the play.
They have been such great partners
they have.
with your group. Probably would not have been able to carry this on.
I don't think so.
No.
Sure. I mean, they're again, and we just had Judith on, but another thing that the library does that
Correct.
a lot of people won't know about. Oh, you just open up the doors and people come in. No, there's
No.
more to it than that. And usually there's snacks too, as I
Oh,
remember.
yes, cookies, yeah.
They are truly the friends of the library.
They
I
are.
can tell you that. So this sounds pretty exciting. Is Dave excited to get involved in this? Is his first venture, right?
This is his
Okay.
very first venture, yes. He's a newbie at the age of 76, and I think he is.
That's great. Another thing the Bitlers can do together. You go to practice together now.
Yeah, we'll see how that
You
lasts.
can read lines at home, and
Yeah.
we'll see if the marriage survives. We'll again see another difficult time in the life of a woman. We'll find out how that works. Well, golly, this. What do you have one for the next one after this? You have that
We
lined
do.
up yet?
We do. It will be in mid-May. I don't have the dates right off the top of my head. That show will be directed by Misha Clark, who's been
Nice.
in some of our
Nice.
performances. It's called Head Over Heels. And it is a comedy.
It's not about Cathy and
It's
Dave.
not about Cathy and Dave, but it is about the phenomenon called silver splitting. And this occurs when people of a certain age who've been married more
Are
than
in a
30
play
years
together.
divorce and what happens, and them
Silver
going back,
splitting.
thinking back through their married life and raising their children. And it doesn't sound like it, but it's funny. Yes. So.
Well, I think it could be. I could see that. Marilyn Steiner directing, and Cathy Bitler, along with husband Dave, in the play. It's going to be great. March 7, 8, 9 at the Garret Library, Garret floor in the library. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks for joining us on Fairfield Today.
Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.